That was so tense. I didn't feel like I could breathe that entire episode, and I feel like I'd have to watch that episode 5 times over to get everything that was said to me.
It was a lot of dialogue that was heavily emotional, and obviously there could be a lot of clues to be found in it. I felt like that episode was 10 minutes of intensity, and that was it. But I guess it was 24 minutes of intensity.
We got so much, and I don't know. I don't know who to believe and what to believe, man.
I don't know what the sides are. Like, okay, so I don't know.
Sides?
Yeah, like who's the enemy? What, like, these characters have totally skewed any idea I could have of who is the real enemy and what is the future that they're looking to create. Like, I mean, Reiner said it at the very end. He said Krista's future. So that means that the world that they're creating, where, you know, Reiner literally said that their goal was to wipe out all of humanity. But if he's talking about ensuring Krista's future, that's not... She, as far as I believe, is a human. But it's like they're painting this kind of, and they have been, that Krista and Eren are possibly... I don't know about opposite sides necessarily, but maybe opposite sides of the same coin. That they're both very, very important to the future, or could be instrumental to the future.
I agree. The quote from 2x6 from Reiner was, our primary goal was to ensure all of humanity was wiped out, but there's no need for that now.
It's like Eren and Krista or something, some mix of what they've seen in the last 3 years has given them some form of hope or something that they didn't need to continue this mission.
Let's go, once we get to the dialogue referring to Historia, Krista, whatever, then I think we'll be able to have the information to talk more about it. Fair?
It's going to be confusing going through Reiner's dialogue because he's obviously split.
Yeah.
Like, he's obviously in constant controversy with himself.
It's like he's, I don't know, the fact that he's repressed, apparently, like, a past. I don't know. Okay, let's get to it. So Ymir is apparently saying that she doesn't know the specifics behind how Titan's powers work. Mm-hmm. What the fuck's that mean? How did she become a Titan? Is she like
she doesn't know just the science behind it, or like
when was the first time she became a Titan? Mm-hmm. Like
she knows. It seems like she knows. She doesn't know that, or like the intricacies of how to turn people into Titans, or what the science is that does it. But it seems like she at least knows.
It almost seems like she was an experiment gone wrong, right? She's very tiny as a Titan. She's not armored. She's not colossal. She's suggesting that she knows nothing. Mm-hmm. Unlike you guys, I'm pretty clueless about it, which suggests that Reiner and Bertholdt know a lot about
she might know more of like the hidden reality, I guess, is what she probably knows. Which we don't completely know what that hidden reality is either. Yeah. Because we kind of learn things at the same time that Eren does.
I'm trying to go through chronologically because just somewhat organized to make sure we get all the information we can. When Ymir said, if I don't get some soon, referring to water, I'm going to dry up and die, I was like, check 2 for Titans or plants theory. Situation couldn't be any shittier. So this is when it got really weird for me.
You're on the scene where the idea and comparison between the two words soldier and warrior is brought up, which... It
was brought up after this.
Right. This is the scene that it
was
I
first
could sum
put
up
into motion.
that way. Yes.
So I think we deserve to take a break for once. We'll see about getting promoted later. And then Bertholdt's like, is that Reiner stop talking, or is that a Reiner, oh my god, you've forgotten who you were? Like,
well,
or you're in this delusion.
Uses how Bertholdt is acting right now as evidence to believe the truth of Reiner.
Yes.
And that Bertholdt, that this is not the first time that Reiner has talked like this that has concerned Bertholdt.
Yeah. So, like, cause like I've been on the bandwagon of the thought that Reiner's 100% like he's just kind of fucking up, but what he's saying is true. Mm-hmm. But the idea was definitely given to us that Reiner is just delusional and lost in it. So in one line of thinking, we'll see about getting promoted later by the Scout Regiment, or in another line of thinking, by whoever they are working for or they are a part of, right? Reiner, what? We've done plenty enough to deserve it.
Isn't it interesting that the words soldier and warrior are kind of synonyms, but here they're literally like the words you're called, and so they're very different?
I could just be pulling this from thin air. When I think of the term soldier compared to warrior, for some reason soldier seems more defensive and warrior seems more antagonistic, like, or more like taking a step forward.
Yeah, you could also say that warrior might be synonymous with people that rebel and or stand up and fight, and not an organized kind of military structure.
Soldiers like us are expected to fulfill their duties.
Which is different probably than what a warrior would be defined as.
I think we've all earned it.
Right. All
as in everybody sitting right there. Mm-hmm. So would that further the idea of the delusion that he's under?
Right now, in this current, at this part of the scene, he is still, and then I think he starts talking about having a crush on Krista and or thinking Krista might favor him right after this.
I think so too.
And that's him still being in the delusion of, yes, these are my comrades. We are all soldiers. We've done a lot of hard work. But it's like he can't connect that the hard work, he was the actual enemy in that fight against Eren earlier that day.
I'm not, okay, here. What in the world are you talking about? Huh?
What do you mean?
I'm not saying we go demand to be promoted to captains or anything.
I don't know enough about the promotion scale in this show.
Oh, yeah.
The military.
Where did you all get that cannon from? The cannon that Ymir rolled down the stairs to cover the door.
It's like he's gone back. It's interesting. His mind has reverted back to the moments before he told Eren what he has done.
It's like it's actively one personality covering up the other one, and like his situational awareness right now is seemingly like unconsciously, purposefully ignoring where they are right now, and reverts back to the most logical soldier thought, which is before any of the crazy shit happened when Ymir turned into a Titan.
Which is not only reverting back to the most soldier thought, but on a more internal level, reverting back to a time where he felt morally right. Maybe even.
Yeah.
His heart wasn't hurting.
Yeah, and he could, like, live with himself. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing Krista helped me after that. To be honest, I think she has a thing for me. Hey, now that I think about it, Krista has always treated me especially. Is it odd that they're calling her Krista?
No, because I think that's not...
If she's bigger to the story.
Okay, if she's bigger to the story and they did know her name before here... Okay, why it wouldn't be weird is because if you think of the timeline that Reiner is reverting back to in this conversation is before they heard what her real name is. And so he still was calling her Krista to the fellow comrade soldiers.
Yeah.
At the time that he's reverting back to, when she bandaged him up and helped him and the cannon down the stairs, all of that. So it makes sense. It would be weird, I think, now that I'm thinking about how his mind is working in the current state that he's in, if he did call her Historia when thinking back to those moments.
Yeah. I think it could be, like, it would be an interesting, like, feel, like, if one side of him, if one personality of him referred to her as Historia and the other Krista.
One Krista. I mean, I thought could exactly be it.
Yeah. So I thought this was interesting, because as hard as it is, we try to think about things if they are or not the case, right? Mm-hmm. You bastard, you've got to be kidding me. Eren is like freaking out. Huh? What are you so angry about,
Like,
Aaron?
he looks genuinely
Did I say something
surprised
wrong?
that
So
he has pissed Aaron off, which is crazy.
So, like, and that definitely, the obvious thing is that it's like, okay, he's in this personality break again, right? That we learned about later in the episode. He is ignoring, like, this, he's on soldier side. Can we differentiate them as soldier warrior side? He's on soldier side, so of course he doesn't really understand what Aaron's emotion is. Is there the possibility still that there is something else? Like, he seems so, like, the problem I'm having is that he wasn't on soldier side when he told Aaron that he was the armored titan and Berthold was the colossal titan, but he still kept up with the weird feeling of, like, it seemed like he was surprised Aaron didn't want to go with them. So
I
here,
felt like that was completely his soldier side.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, did I say something wrong? It still feels like, to me, that part of the mission from the beginning is very specific to Aaron. We learned, like, we had the line of, you kicked that piece of wall in my house. You, like, it's Aaron is very important. So it's like, if somebody else gave them the mission to be like, okay, go get Aaron, right? He's the chosen one, whatever. Go get him, like, build him up and take him back with me. Like, then they would be, like, a little bit surprised that he wouldn't be okay with it, or he didn't know the mission.
Mm-hmm. I think another piece of evidence you can use for Aaron possibly being the chosen one that they were supposed to grab and go with here is that, yes, they take Ymir, but they tell her, we can't guarantee your safety when we take you home to wherever the home is.
But they still wanted to take her.
Because they believe that she could understand why they are the warriors that they are and what the mission is, as long as they agree that the mission will include Krista's future and safety.
Hold up, Aaron. This isn't normal, no matter how you look at it. Isn't that right, Berthold? Which is definitely the soldier warrior side coming up. It was kind of a surreal moment, man. It was very real.
It ties back to, like, I feel like we always see Berthold kind of not looking straight on, but always behind Reiner and looking slightly kind of, I don't know, down to the side, you know? And it's interesting. It's like it goes back to, oh, so he was having conversations like this with Reiner beforehand, and that's why he acted in the way that he did. We are warriors.
This is gonna be a crazy breakdown scene, man.
What? I want to go back to what exactly did Reiner say that shook Berthold enough in the castle to say, you're not a warrior anymore?
Let's write
There was a line, because Reiner had to have said something or acted a certain way in that scene for Berthold to say out loud or internally. I don't remember if he said it to him out loud or it was an internal, that he's not a warrior.
What my assumption would be was like something just like him flirting with
it could have been
Krista.
a show of too much emotion or excitement that Krista was tending to his arm.
Yeah, let's see, where would that
or
be?
the fact that he risked everything to save Connie, because it was right after that. He was literally gonna jump out of the castle with that Titan on his arm.
Yeah, so I believe it was
Okay, so we have gone back to, what episode is this? Southwestward, I think was the title of it.
Ymir gets the cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Just my luck. I think it's broken. I know. Sorry. No, it helps. Are you alright? My hand got scraped too. It's a normal thing to do. Thinking back to the flashback of...
Because we're soldiers. So he says the word soldiers out loud, and is that what makes Berthold react the way?
I've got to pay you back sometime. Not really. Which is weird that he's thinking back to this moment if he's going to correlate that with the word soldier.
So here he's relating the friend to Connie in this instance. Or
wanting to be that friend for Connie. Mm-hmm. It's because we're soldiers. I'm not so sure about that. I doubt I could ever be that brave. Hey, Berthold. Has Reiner always been like this?
And he looks to the side and down.
Reiner was more of a warrior.
In the past, Reiner was more of a warrior. Unlike now.
What's that mean? What do you mean by warrior? He doesn't
even
remember.
What do you mean by warrior? So he really did completely split off even it's almost like a refusal and a complete suppression of anything related to this mission that they have started.
Yeah.
And because of all those intense emotions, I know that it's...
Which could be why he deviated from the plan, just that, or what we assume to be a plan.
Yeah. What is happening here?
Okay.
Who is that person that they are breaking the wrist of?
So it kind of looks like it's on a rooftop, no?
It does.
Like those being shingles,
Reiner.
It looks like Reiner's the person doing it, does it not?
Oh, he could have split back to his warrior self and thought he was an armored titan at the moment or something.
Maybe. But this does look like it infers that Reiner's the person holding that person back, right? Oh, that's it. Dude, it was like a, I know you haven't seen Moon Knight, but it's like a, and it switches personalities, and then he's like, why am I here? It was what I infer to be warrior Reiner taking present, pinning someone down who I'm hoping was not Marco, and then feeding him or putting him to death, and then soldier Reiner waking back up and being like, what's going on?
You think that was Marco? Because later
it's
watch
right
Marco
after, right?
Oh, shit.
Annie crying.
Even Bernthold is crying too. Literally, and Annie is weeping. As I was when I found out Marco died.
Why? Berthold's like...
He's shocked.
Why is Marco...
Oh, because he switched back and he didn't understand what happened.
Exactly.
And that's why Berthold
a gap
is shocked.
period is getting eaten. So that is fucking tragic.
I mean, it completely... It does really seem like they're painting him to completely switch.
Yes.
And not have that, because then there's that blank in memories.
So is the whole wipe out all of humanity on the warrior side? Mm-hmm. When I first saw Annie crying, how brainwashed is Annie? Why was she crying there? At first, I'm not gonna lie, at first I had the thought, I was like, no way Marco was one of them. He was a Titan too, kind of thing. But had Annie gotten this close to these people as well to be that emotional?
Well, Marco has already been the literal person that has created the emotions amongst the rest of the cadets, that the 104th cadets. Marco is their first friend to have died. Jean has been using him as a device to push him into these leadership roles.
Yeah.
Aaron was shocked to hear that Marco had died because he hadn't been there. And then we're also seeing that the opposite side, the enemies maybe even, that was their first person that everyone got to know Marco in the same 3 or so years.
Yep.
Everyone had the same amount of time with him, whether they were the enemies or not.
3 long years surrounded by idiots.
And so here we're seeing 3 kids, young people, who have spent 3 years being, even if it was fake friends or a means to an end friends with Marco.
Berthold said himself about feeling bad. Mm-hmm. Right?
He felt bad for Aaron, yeah.
Why would the guy who broke the wall risk his life to save Connie? That's soldier side, right? Mm-hmm. Everything he does is contradictory, but he doesn't realize it himself.
He doesn't realize it because he's completely compartmentalized it all.
I don't know why he ended up like this, but probably he was originally a warrior whose goal was to break the wall. But after pretending to be a soldier for so long, 3 years, he lost sight of who he was and couldn't tell which one was real. 3 years. That, for some reason, I'm like, okay, well, if he was, majority of his life being trained as a warrior, then how does 3 years change? Not only... It's one thing if we're talking about 3 years is long enough to develop emotions for people and, sympathize with the enemy. That's not what I'm, weirded out by. How does it make you
Okay.
separate personalities.
Well,
like,
I'm not under the impression that he has been trained from birth. Because if we think back to Annie's flashbacks of having that weird interpossible training interaction of becoming who she was and a Titan, it seemed to be maybe a child age, but maybe closer to Eren, Mikasa, and Armin's age at the beginning of the series.
Honestly, like, fuck the people behind this. Like, because I'm getting the impression that Reiner and Bertholdt were trained to be warriors and were told, like, this is what you have to do. These are the bad guys. Like, and they're like, yeah, they are the bad guys. And then after coming face to face with it and having to do these horrible
or the view
sins.
of the future, like, you have to do this to ensure the future that is this, and they have painted this amazing future that they have grown up believing is the right future.
But then having to actually do it and seeing what it's actually like and seeing these people aren't just idiots or, like, useless, that he has had to, like, force himself to split into two. Fuck the people behind it.
It could be one of those things where he comes from the hometown is people that can turn into Titans, that are Titans. And they've been told that humanity is the enemy because humanity keeps fighting them.
Mm-hmm. Man, because you could argue very easily in his own right that Reiner is a victim.
Well, yes, especially if he was a child being told to do these things and led to believe things that he doesn't know if he believes anymore. And if we're going with the fact that they were the same, are actually similar ages, then they were children when they first attacked. When they first broke down the walls.
Judging by Bertholdt's grim expression. It's amazing, really. For someone excessively honest like you, too. Is she talking to Bertholdt here?
Mm-hmm.
What's the finished sentence? For someone excessively honest like you to not tell Reiner
what's happening to him?
Yeah. Mm. Maybe to like not risk like a break and then like a whole argument that would unveil their plan. Shut your mouth. Sorry about that. She pushed too hard, right?
I mean, Reiner kind of got to a point where unpredictable, I guess, for Bertholdt. And that it definitely takes me back to when he told Eren who they really are. And Bertholdt was like, Reiner, are you sure? Reiner, you know, like... And the whole time he was kind of watching what Reiner was doing here and wondering if it was okay, if this was the right move, what mindset is Reiner in right now. Mm-hmm. It's like he was trying to figure out Reiner and how he was feeling and which side he was, warrior or soldier at that time.
Do you think that a very simplified mission, because nothing about this is simple, there's no bad guy and good guy, as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't
seem that way, at least right now.
Do you think a very simplified version of their mission could potentially be, do not let other people have control of the basement?
We have said, what if they're trying to get to the basement too? Like at the beginning, like season 1, we were like, what if the Titans also want to get to the basement?
The key's on Eren. I don't know why they couldn't just break down the door if they're Titans, but whatever. The key's on Eren.
But isn't that more fun that you can only get in the basement with this one key?
Yes, but what if it's not? What if they aren't trying to get into the basement, but they're trying to keep other people from getting to the basement?
Right.
So, in my head at least, Bertholdt is like an all-star soccer player who kicked down the wall and specifically aimed for Eren's house so that his mom would be trapped and the basement would be covered and then pushed back inevitably. It's such an odd image now knowing who Bertholdt is to imagine him kicking down the wall into Eren's house.
Well, if we're going with the narrative that they might have been kids, he might not have thought at the time that there was anyone in the house.
You're right. What were you thinking when I told you? Best Actor in the World award goes to Bertholdt for actively killing and learning that you have killed and ruined this person's life at the moment.
Ruined his life or made him be the person he is today?
Both.
Yeah,
both.
Exactly.
I felt sorry for you.
I thought ... I felt sorry. So interesting. Are you saying you don't feel that anymore? What do you feel now?
Okay. What were you thinking when I told you?
Yes, I know. It's just interesting how he phrases it, because
Yes,
it opens up the idea that he might feel differently now.
I think it's intentional that it's phrased in that way, but you could easily say that it's only phrased in that way because
Right.
You're reinstating the question of what were you thinking when I told you? This is what I thought. Anna, what were you thinking about this episode? I thought that this episode was,
Yeah.
But I definitely think that it was, I thought I felt sorry for
Right.
you. You can easily read
The
that.
only way I'm leaning that way is that conversation they had was when they first met. And it's been years since that.
Yeah.
That they have grown into caring so much about these people that Reiner is breaking. You don't think I know that. I don't need you to point that out to me. When Eren says that they're murderers, like...
You guys aren't even human anymore. It's you two who have turned this world
into a hell.
What are you after by calling us murderers? Do you want us to regret it? Do you want us to apologize? Would that give you satisfaction? It's interesting. I know that Ymir's there, but it's interesting that they included her face in that. The people you thought we were no longer exist. So does that take away Soldier Reiner from the equation? Is this Warrior Reiner?
Seems like it. I also like that he says, if screaming will make you feel better, then scream your damn head off.
That's
and I was like...
such a great line of delivery, dude. He's like out of breath.
Because he's like, it points to, there's nothing that can be said or done right now that'll make anyone feel better. You calling us murderers isn't going to make you feel better or get satisfaction. We're not going to get any satisfaction hearing it because we already freaking know it. So just scream, because there's nothing else to do.
Yep.
There's nothing that's going to give you release or make you feel better right now except for screaming. And I think that's very human. I think we've all been to the point of like so upset, so angry that the only thing we can do is like grab a pillow and scream into it, or it's so relatable.
I completely agree. I've been on the bandwagon of the thought that Reiner's 100% like he's just kind of fucking up, but what he's saying is true. I've been on the bandwagon of the thought that Reiner's 100% like he's just kind of fucking up, but what he's saying is true. I've been on the bandwagon.
I've been on the bandwagon.